It's troubling what I've been reading regarding a gentleman who now has been given a special position at the Commission, head of diversity and a special counsel position, Mr. Lloyd. And I was just reading a document from Center for American Progress where he outlines his various views, an article from July 24th of 2007. And you know, I think I've shared with some of you, my wife and I were in small market radio ownership for nearly 22 years. My father helped put stations on the air back to the 30s and believed very strongly in the responsibility of licensees to serve their communities. So when I read that this gentleman says that commercial broadcasters want to be trustees of public property but without responsibility, I got to tell you, I take offense to that. Chairman, you and I had a very good conversation about fairness doctrine. You know my feelings on that. I've received your comments, and I understand you're not for putting it back in, and I'm not for putting it back in, that it didn't work when it was there. I happen to believe it's probably unconstitutional. The information from Mr. Lloyd would indicate he's not for putting the fairness doctrine back in. He's just for a whole different scheme that gets to the same outcome. And his appointment, you know, a lot of talking about czars. I hope we don't have a government speech czar in place that's going to drive a whole different mechanism through the rulemaking and challenging the licensees. And I'm just trying to figure out what his position is, what his responsibilities are. Will we have an opportunity to question him before this committee at some point to really vet these issues? Would you be supportive of that? Because I got to tell you, I'm out of the business now, but I am deeply offended by what I read here, in trouble.
I understand some of the concerns that you have, and I can say a couple of things. One is, to the extent that there's a concern that the Commission would engage in any censorship of broadcasters or anyone in the media on the basis of political views and opinions, the answer is we won't. If First Amendment prohibits it, it won't happen.
I appreciate that.
The diversity goals are mentioned in hundreds of FCC decisions. They're explicitly in the Communications Act. The Supreme Court has acknowledged that it's a role. And the idea of having diversity as an objective of the FCC and having staff focused on it seems to be a natural extension. And
I do not take exception to that. I just begin to read what he said. There are comments, video comments about Hugo Chavez. I mean, there's some pretty outrageous things being said.
Mark Lloyd is not working on these issues. He's not working on fairness doctrine issues. He's not working on censorship issues. He's not working on these issues.
Right.
He's working on opportunity issues, primarily now around broadband adoption, focusing on making sure that broadband is available to all Americans.
So he's not going to be working on the broadcast license issues, none of those things?
He's not working on those issues.
But we want a place of intellectual ferment and different ideas, and you have an organization of 1,800 people. I don't think everybody's going to go in lockstep, and then we rely on the judgment of the organization and the people at the top of the organization to make intelligent decisions about where we're going. But as for the personal characteristics of this particular individual, I think they are of the highest, and I, for one, am pleased that he is at the FCC.